Hey everyone, Tankenstein here, and, well, you know what? I'm just gonna get straight to the point. More documents have been leaked about another aircraft that, if I'm not mistaken, is currently in military service. This time, it is the J-8B in Chinese Air Service. So, we have a user on the War Thunder forums that has leaked numerous details regarding, if I'm not mistaken, the radar and also possibly some other details regarding the J-8B, and there have been some classified documents, if I'm not mistaken. Now, I'm not really sure how Chinese classified document law works, but I would imagine that it's a bit stricter and probably with harsher punishments than most countries in the West have. Now, this has been a trend over the past few months, but really over the last few years, ever since the Challenger 2 crewman had leaked the user guide, if I'm not mistaken, to the Challenger 2, and then we had the Frenchman leaking the details to the turret rotation speed for the Leclerc, but I guess that one wasn't as big of a deal as the Challenger. But regardless, also, let me know in the comments below if you guys know whatever happened to that Challenger 2 crewman, and also anyone else that has had these documents leaked, that has been leaking these documents. We recently saw the F-16, for example, and it's just been totally berserk, totally bonkers. What's going on? Like, I get it. You know, I mean, you want to make the most accurate vehicle possible, but what does it really matter? Oh man, this vehicle sucks. It's like, it doesn't really have full capability. Then get the next one, you know? Get the next one. Why does it matter? Just grinding out a few hours of video game time so you can get the next vehicle and then that one's modeled more correctly or that one's more powerful. These are not supposed to be entirely accurate representations of the vehicles that they portray in real life. They're not meant to be. I mean, they're meant to be pretty close, but if this was like DCS, you know how many people would be crashing on takeoff, especially in high tiers? It'd be ridiculous. So in many ways, this is kind of like what they would consider to be a simcade game. So it has no need for people to release these documents. And the funny thing is that Gaijin can never use these documents when updating vehicles. So if you ever want to give the Gaijin these documents, they can't update the vehicles based on that. They have to go on other details, other things, like if there's some sort of a guide for the radar, for example, that you want updated, they're going to go based on that. They're not going to go based on the classified documents for the entire system of the plane itself. They'll go on the unclassified details, again, like the radar, or maybe what's on a first-hand source online, whatever the case may be. But by submitting these classified documents to Gaijin, especially on the forums of all places, you are making it so that the changes that you want to happen to the vehicles that, well, you want them to happen to are just not going to happen. Now, again, this has been happening for years at this point, I believe, and it's just been completely crazy that people time and time again have not learned their lesson. And if you guys want, I would definitely recommend watching the European Canadians rant videos on this because they're pretty funny. Shout out to TEC. But regardless, and by pretty funny, I mean he's got a good sense of humor about it because he hates these people so much, understandably. But you have this huge subset of people, and really, the only ones who are leaking these documents are the ones who actually are able to obtain them. Do you know how many more people would actually leak these documents to Gaijin if they could obtain them? It is absurd. I'm not really sure how the War Thunder's forum works, but there should be some sort of a notification so that when you upload a document or a picture or something, that it says in red letters, do not upload this if it is classified military intelligence. Simple as that. And I know most people are not going to read that, and even the ones who do, a large portion will not care. But you have to understand, Gaijin will never be able to implement this data that you give them into anything. And guess what? You're probably getting them into trouble with these governments. I mean, this is becoming an almost weekly, actually more than weekly thing at this point. We've seen 3 leaks, I think, since the new year happened, which is just absurd in and of itself. Why do people keep doing this? I don't know. Actually, I do have a video as to why people keep doing this. I got the answers from the community, and I made a real quick video about that. I'll try to link that below. But regardless, let me know what you guys think. This is just absolutely absurd. You are hurting Gaijin by doing this. Whoever is doing this, you're going to get yourself thrown into a jail cell, especially with a less tolerant government. So let's say again, the Chinese government. I would imagine that they are not going to like whoever did this, and especially if it's a Chinese citizen, you will never see them again. You will never see that person ever again. That's just it. They've been wiped out from history, you know, and again, let me know if whatever happened to that Challenger crewman. But with that said, thank you all so much for watching. There's only so much one could say about this that's already been said. whether this is the first, second, third, fourth, 20th time that things have been leaked. At this point, it's got to be, what, close to 8, 9, or 10 times? So it's just been absurd. But either way, thank you all so much, and I'll see you all on the other side. Take care, everyone.